So good morning, everyone. Today I'll be presenting our extended abstract, CriminelBART, which is a French-Canadian legal language model specialized in criminal law. So, well, the team behind this project is myself. I'm a PhD student in computer science in Quebec City at Laval University, and I've been working with Eve Gaumont, who is a master's student in the Faculty of Law. And I am also working with my supervisor, Luc Lamontagne, and the supervisor of Eve, Pierre-Luc Desiel. So I'll begin by introducing the underlying task that we are trying to solve. And it's a work that we presented at INLG 2020, the International Conference on Natural Language Generation. And in this paper, what we're trying to do, well, what we introduce is the task of bringing some intelligibility for the docket files, which we call the plumitifs here in Quebec. So the docket files are legal documents, semi-structured, that are at the core of a legal judicial case. So it's basically this document right here on the left, and it has some references to the criminal code. We also have a bunch of, abbreviations sometimes and things like that. So this document is, in principle, accessible to the Quebec citizens, but it's barely understandable. So the goal of this project is to take this semi-structured document, extract the relevant information from it, and generate some kind of description out of it. So here we have that John Doe pleaded guilty of failing to comply with an order and committing mischief to property on January 1st on 2019. So this is the basic idea of this project. So the first model that we designed to generate these descriptions was a rule-based model, and it did have some problems on generalizing to other districts or to other domains. So we wanted to, hopefully we want to be able to train some statistical language models, such as the ones that we've seen. BART is one of the very good natural language generation models based on neural networks. And recently we've seen Barthez, which is a skilled pre-trained French sequence-to-sequence model. So our data set is actually in French, so this is why we started off with we want to start off with Barthez. But so what we did is we took around 10,000 legal judgments from the Superior Court of Canada, and we further pre-train Barthez on these documents in order to have a language model that have a semantic or somehow understanding of the criminal law and the lexical field and everything. So hence we have CriminelBART. And so now there's nothing really new to pre-training the language model on specific data sets. But what's a little more interesting in this work is that we design a bunch of Cloze tests in order to see if the model grasped the semantic and the semantic features and the lexical field of the criminal law from Quebec City in Canada. So the first Cloze test that we design revolves around the criminal charges, where in this case we have the defendant is accused of something under the criminal code, and Cloze tests are exactly this kind of exams that a language model must pass. It must fill in the blank with one or several tokens. And so from the results that we had, CriminelBART was really grasp the distribution of the kind of accusations or charges that are comprising the data set. So at first, the model predicted driving under the influence, and then aggravated assault, possession of narcotics, dangerous driving, and hit and run. And so one of the reasons we chose to use BART for this task is that it's different from BERT, is that it's able to predict some spans of tokens. As we can see, it's able to predict literally this driving under the influence charge. So the other test that we designed for CriminelBART is predicting legal provisions. So exactly the law from the Canadian Criminal Code. So for example, we have a given person is put on trial on charges of possession of cannabis, thus committing the criminal act provided in article something here. So we ask CriminelBART to fill in this blank. And actually, the good answer is section 4 from the criminal code, but the ranking that we have was article 5, section 5, which is trafficking of substance, section 7, which is production, and then section 4, which is the possession of a substance. So what's interesting here is that we have many distractors within the law. For example, we have section 95, which is possession of illegal firearms, and section 163.13, which is possession of child pornography. So the interesting thing here is that CriminelBART learned that there are some sections that are related to the possession or trafficking or production of a given substance, while these articles were not predicted at the top of the list. So the last Cloze test that we designed was about privacy, because it's known that these kind of models may leak some data, and we know them as being stochastic parrots. So we want to know if we could retrieve, given a specific charge, fraud, or driving under the influence, or trafficking in substance. We want to know if we are able to retrieve a specific person. So from the result that we had, we were not able to really extract the identity of some person, but still, it could be concerning, because this model was only predicting the name of the most common person that was in the data set, which are judges, some lawyers. So it may be prejudicial to them if this model would be generating this kind of thing. But yeah, so this was an interesting Cloze test to run. So to conclude real quick, we assess to some extent the capability of CriminelBART to establish some semantic relationship between certain provisions, which is kind of really interesting in the context or in the case where we would like to use it as a descriptor or generator of descriptions of criminal legal documents. So it's a really promising generator for deployment descriptions that the task that we presented in 2020 and that we are actually trying to solve. So in our future work, well, we are presenting tonight another paper, which is Plume to Text, which is a data set, data to text data set for natural language generation. And we are looking into training or fine-tuning, in fact, this CriminelBART model for the task of generating primitive description. So that's why we introduced this new data set, and tonight we will be presenting how we created this data set, the different annotation tools and everything. So I'll be looking forward to see this presentation if it does interest you. So thank you everyone for listening, and I'll be up for questions.